First of all, I was telling you earlier when I spoke to Robert Kennedy, one of the things I was very curious about was the lineage in his family and what they talked about at night and what were the questions and how did they get people to get mentally so strong. And in one interview, I think in the book Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about the fact he met the Kennedys and he asked him, he says, so, hey, John, tell me what's your favorite color? And his answer was, we like the color red. He says, no, but what's your color? He says, no, we like red. He says, the Kennedys seemed so united when I was around them. When I read and study your family, I mean, how does a family get folks to believe for 7 generations that we're all going to be wire walkers? So if we can go back to where that tradition, the values and principles, who is the original founder that started this tradition, take us from there, and then we'll go to all the different experiences that you've had.
Absolutely. So my family history dates back to the 1780s. So well over 200 years, my family's been wire walking. My great grandfather is the one that really made our family famous. He brought our family from Germany, originally Bohemia in the 1780s, into Germany, and brought our family over to the United States from Germany in 1928. In fact, he was actually performing and they were headlining on a show in Havana, Cuba. And they were making headlines around the world for doing these amazing pyramids on the wire. And John Ringling, the founder of Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, heard that he needed to see this amazing wire troupe. So he made his way over to Cuba on a ship, got off, went to see the show. And that evening, my great-grandparents were getting ready to get on the wire to perform. And as they got ready to perform, the show owner in Cuba came up to them and said, this evening, we're giving you the night off. And my family sort of looked at themselves and scratched their heads and said, this doesn't add up. We're headliners. We're featured here. The audience, this is a full house to see us. Why are you giving us the night off? Well, the reason he was giving the night off was because John Ringling was in the audience and he knew he was going to lose this amazing performance group to the United States and Ringling Brothers Circus. But John Ringling, being an astute businessman, snuck in the next day, saw my family perform and signed them to come over to the United States to perform on Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. So they made their way over to the United States, 1928. The safety net that they had used was lost in shipping. And they thought, this is our debut in the US. There's no way we can avoid this. We've just got to go on without a safety net. And the story is told that they were set up so high in Madison Square Garden for that opening night that John Ringling came into the arena hours before the show and said, there's absolutely no way I'm going to let them perform that high, and made them lower the rigging some. But the story goes that they got on the wire and they did this amazing performance of heart-stopping feats. And immediately afterwards, the audience went crazy and they were whistling and screaming and foot stomping. But my family was scared to death because whistling and screaming and foot stomping was the same as being booed off the stage back in that time in Europe. So they thought they were horrible. They were horrendous. They were failures and that they were going to get kicked out of the country. But little did they realize the ringmaster ran to the door and called them back to the arena where they received a 15-minute standing ovation for their first performance in the old garden. So that's sort of the legacy that I inherited. But my great grandfather, he said it best. He said, life is on the wire and everything else is just waiting. And for, I think, everybody in the world, especially with this virus we're facing, we're all on a wire. But for our family, it's in the literal sense. Life is on the wire. That is where we feel alive. My mom was 6 months pregnant and still walking the wire.
That's crazy.
I started walking a wire when I was 18 months old. It is truly life to us. It is not a decision. It is not a choice. It is truly who we are. Like the Kennedys, like Red, the Wallendas are wire walkers.